How's it going? So this is a video on the oncoming potential, impending, whatever way you want to call it, banking collapse, financial collapse, societal collapse, etc. So increasingly again, there's a lot of talk obviously of banking system going down, gold and silver is going to go through the roof, Bitcoin or whatever else, guns, beans. This has been happening for years. I started buying gold and silver in 2007, I think it was, and I started buying silver, excuse me, I think it was at around $10 an ounce. I was still buying it up to $49, and I think I have sold probably everything, gold and silver now, for two reasons. One is that I bought gold and silver as a hedge. The intention was not to get rich. The intention was it was there if the shit hit the fan. And in its own way, the shit did hit the fan, so I had to sell the gold and silver to stay alive. And then the other reason would be that I learned that the right investment does not make us rich or does not save us from catastrophe. It's what we manifest and what we create. So no matter what we buy or invest in, if we're coming from a dark or a lower level vibration, that's what we'll manifest, that's what we'll create. So there are plenty of people who bought gold, silver, Bitcoin, guns, oil, property, etc., who got extremely rich. And there are plenty of people who did exactly the same thing. And whatever way it worked out, whatever reality they arrived in and they manifested for themselves, they didn't get rich. Or they weren't saved, or whatever term you want to use. Being safe in this oncoming collapse, if it's coming and if it happens, and to what degree it happens. There's a flawed message that I see being sold at the moment, and it's buy X or do X. X ain't gonna save you. It depends what you're manifesting. It depends where your energy is going and what you're creating. Now this also depends on the person and where the person is in this life and in their journey, what is attached to them. So consciously, they could be doing all the right things, ticking all the right boxes. But whatever trauma is trapped in that subconscious, in the DNA, in their energy field, is driving that human, that train to wherever it's going to go. Disease, early death, riches, poor, whatever, doesn't matter. And most of us obviously are unaware of that, and we don't really want to go there. We like to do the entirely superficial stuff. Imagine the lake, and we want to just stay on the water surface at all times, and we want to just buy gold or buy this or buy that, or that's all we're doing. We're thinking that's going to solve everything. But the deeper we go down, there's more and more currents or turmoil or big fish, the Loch Ness monster, whatever it is. There's a lot of stuff down there that's deciding where the water on the surface is going to go. But humans don't want to go there. We're just so comfortable. We like things as easy and as comfortable and superficial as possible. So we'll dip into little bits of research on what's happening with the market and what's happening with the banks and what's happening with whatever. And we'll try and play the game. And maybe we'll be in tune with that deeper current and flow, and it'll all fall into place and it will work out, or maybe it won't. We don't know. We think we know. So, as I've said in a previous video, humans like to think that if I buy X and I get rich and I avoid the chaos, I did that. Aren't I great? But if it goes wrong, we tend to like to, most of us, just ignore that it went wrong. Find an excuse and move on. It's like voters who will choose all the people I name repeatedly. Bernie Sanders, Corbyn, Trump, Clinton, Obama, whoever. They'll back this guy. The guy turns out to be a psychopath, or he'll do, whatever crony Wall Street elite reptilian things he does or she does. And the supporters will just blanket, move on to the next guy. They won't actually sit down and assess, where did I go wrong here? Why did I choose? What attracted me to this guy? How come I was tricked by him? And if I was tricked by him, have I been tricked by other people? Am I being tricked by people in my life? What's wrong in me? What's amiss in me that I'm not picking up the right signals? So if a tree falls in the woods and there's no one around to hear it, does it make a sound? So if there's a banking collapse, some people are, for want of a better word, insulated. And I'll give you a better word. Some people have ascended. Are they aware of the banking collapse? They're not. Why would I want to create an oncoming reality where I'm going to live in a timeline that chaos ensues, that everything collapses, people are shooting each other in the streets and the grocery stores are empty and there's no petrol at the pumps and so on? Why don't I create insulation for myself? Why don't I manifest and emanate perfection, wealth, health, access to all the things I need, so it can happen in the world, but I just so happen to have got on a plane that day just by chance. These people who I missed the train and the train crashed or the plane crashed just by chance. There is no chance. Consciously or unconsciously, they manifested, they created that experience, that what we would call luck or coincidence. So there are plenty of people who will be totally untouched by any worldly collapse. And there are other people who want to get in the thick of it, who want to gamble, who want the adrenaline, who want the experience, who want the buzz. And I would kind of suggest maybe playing with fire, because as I said earlier, it's investing from a conscious level is not investing from the bottom of the lake. Unless you know what's down at the bottom of the lake, or unless you don't have to know what's down at the bottom of the lake, but if you've got a track record, if you're Donald Trump, or if you're a proven investment guru and you repeatedly create wealth and success, then I'd say you're probably onto a good thing, even though these people still lose money at times and not everything they touch turns to gold. But if your track record is you're an average guy or girl and you're just making money and paying your bills and getting by, and now you think if you buy X, that will create wealth for you or that will insulate you. There's a couple of things wrong with that, in my opinion. One is that your past track record of your energy is just creating, an average living. It's not creating anything unusual. And also the collective energy, if there is such a thing, is going to be much greater than you and could override your complacency. Whereas alternatively, if we are able to potentially lock into a future, lock into a timeline of where we intend to be, where we know we will manifest and we will create, to be there, regardless of any collapse, regardless of disease or any of that kind of stuff, and just steer the ship in that direction. It doesn't matter what you've invested in or bought X or bought whatever. Along that line, along that journey, you might be moved to get out of the country or offered a job someplace else, or you might feel moved to do something. This is the right thing to do. But even if you do these right things and you're coming from a place of chaos, chaos is what's going to follow. It doesn't matter that you've got water in the attic or tins of food and gold bars. It doesn't matter, because your energy isn't manifesting health and wealth and everything to go smoothly. Your energy is manifesting chaos. So this mainly has come from me over, especially last year, working with roulette. And as I've talked about before, being able to see what number was going to hit. 8 out of 10, I could see what number was going to hit on a roulette wheel. And then I adapted that to picking a number and making that number hit. So I would choose, and then that number would hit 8 out of 10 times. So my understanding was I'm choosing what timeline, what reality to live in. I had the ability to pick whatever place I wanted to live that number 5 would hit, or number 10, and so on. So if it's possible to do that with roulette, it's also possible to do that with our reality. To choose a timeline that we're going to live in, that there is no collapse, or that it doesn't affect me, or that I'm perfectly healed and there is no physical disease or defects. That's where we're going in coming generations, really. We will steer the ship completely ourselves. Some of us, not all of us, most of us will still be at the mercy of our karma and our demons and our egos and impulses and all the rest of it. The human personality will be just dragged around kicking and screaming by that. But those of us who have the discipline and the drive to transcend those lower realms and that lower energy, the world is our oyster. We can pick and choose to live and experience whatever we want. But these people are already here, and they're not just living in caves. They're on TV, and some of them are celebrities and some of them are not, and there are people who, they're not spiritual necessarily. They don't get up and meditate for 5 hours every day, but they, knowingly or unknowingly, they're creating peaceful, healthy, wealthy lives untouched by who's in power, what political party. They don't care. It doesn't matter. They're untouched. Whatever country they live in, they're unharmed. There's no crime happening to them. There's no disease happening to them. They're just manifesting perfect life. Effortless. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter what country. You can be untouched. It can unfold. Once we manifest perfection, it will unfold. We will arrive at that destination. So that's my thoughts on collapse. If we're preparing for it, well, then we're creating it. That's not to say to be ignorant and do nothing. It's to say to create something else. Create safety and protection and perfection and wealth and health and so on. So that's it. I hope this was of interest, of help, and be free to sign up to my newsletter. There's more information in that I don't put in videos, and I'll talk soon. Thanks, bye.